This is Deborsk. So I'm just trying to get more practice momentum streaming. So this is the early access closed beta weekend for Diablo 4. Uh, so I figured I would just stream some of my gameplay. As you can see, I've already been playing some of it as it's Sunday when I'm recording. Just trying to get into the practice of being able to commentate and play and just do streaming. So I've already played. This is my my barbarian. I'm playing with my friend Jason, who's a really good friend, and he's actually been to like every BlizzCon with me. And obviously, if you didn't know, I worked for Blizzard for 5 years. I no longer work there, but um, I worked on I worked on this game. I used to head up the data teams uh, at Blizzard, as well as a lot of work for cross-platform and mobile readiness. I was within BattleNet quite a bit. So Diablo 4 is in an interesting place for me because it's a game I worked on, especially on the early portion of it. I had seen early demos of it. I helped launch it at BlizzCon when it was announced. But of course, this is a case where I left Blizzard in 2020, so it's probably one of the first games where I'm kind of in that in between where I've worked on it and I know a lot about it, but I actually didn't get a lot of the early pre-release stuff that I would have normally been given access to or seen as the game was coming out, since I've been at Blizzard for nearly 3 years. So it is exciting to me to play a Blizzard game that I did contribute to, but also one that I don't know enough about to be spoiled on. So either neither here nor there. I'm really just streaming to kind of get into the momentum, and I thought the momentum of it, just keep practicing, that kind of thing. But I'll try to commentate a little bit around uh, things that I know about, or things that I see in the game that are from a game developer perspective. In this case, I think I've been playing this barbarian with my friend Jason. I started a sorcerer just to kind of get the feel. I've never been like a big. I'm a kind of a type of player that plays paladins and tanks and stuff. I like taking a lot of damage. Maybe that's why I like to lead teams and stuff. I like tanking, taking it to the face and that kind of thing. The sorcerer is pretty fun, but they're kind of a glass cannon, not surprisingly. And I found, especially when I'm not playing with friends, especially in this game where there is quite a bit more dodging as you start getting into actual dungeons and stuff like that. I found that I was actually dying if I wasn't paying attention to the combat. Whereas I actually had a lot of friends at Blizzard that used to use Diablo as like a thinking game. Like it was so, especially Diablo 3, it was so mindless that you could just sit there like and sit back and just click, and it would become like kind of relaxing. Um, Obviously, like games like Diablo 1 and 2 are far more uh, tactical, and you can't do that as much. Maybe one of the criticisms of Diablo 3, right, is that it's it's a little too mindless in the action. Diablo 4 is kind of a slow ramp up, but I'm actually going to go ahead and start with playing the sorcerer a little bit. I've leveled him up to a little bit past the general prologue intro area. There's really not much going on in the prologue intro, and if you watch any videos of it, you'll see. So at this point in the game, I don't even have like any skills unlocked. I've just put a couple of points into, for me, like arc lash, which
I
guess I
cannot do that here.
can't show it in town, but let's see. So okay, yeah. So the point, we're in the kind of the first major town. Uh, I guess I can run out and show a little bit of combat stuff, but like I said, I don't play a lot of sorcerers, but this is pretty fun, and the effects are a little bit cooler. The barbarian that I've been playing, once you get about to like level 13 or 15, then the game really starts opening up. They clearly like slow rolled it quite a bit. So okay, now so like arc lash is kind of this AoE in the front type of thing. And then what I tend to do, and I actually have this with the barbarian as well. I'm a big fan of having like one resource generator on your basic attack that's like a melee, and then having one that's more distance. And I do that with the barbarian as well, which is like having one that's kind of like, I use frenzy as the base melee attack, which is one that speeds up as you hit people, and then I have the lunge so that I can use it to close the distance. So similar idea here. Although I would say for the final game, I'm probably going to play the druid. You can see that to me, like, Arc Lash is probably one of the more fun ones, precisely because you saw it's got a really nice AoE and there are a lot of mobs. Something that I really like about Diablo 4 versus other ones is like stuff like this mud. You can see, if you look really closely, you can see that it's almost unnecessary, but they actually are having like footprints in the deformation mesh. Like, that's pretty cool and pretty unnecessary, especially for an isometric game. And I'd say in reality, this isn't quite an isometric game like the previous Diablo games, because like the camera is actually moving. It's not the world is not actually being shown to you in a forced 45-degree angle with squares like say XCOM or, you know, previous Diablos. So you can also having played with the barbarian, and my friend Jason played the rogue, you'd be able to see how high damage this actually is, because the barbarian was killing stuff a lot slower. And it's also worth noting that I think that there's I don't know if this is intentional within Blizzard, because I wasn't aware of it, but there's definitely a lot of things they brought in that are inspired by games like Lost Ark, like for instance the dodge. Something that I think is pretty interesting. I worked probably a lot more closely on Diablo Immortal because I was an initiative director for mobile readiness. So you'll probably hear me commentating a lot more around like, oh, well, we did this in Immortal. And I'm not here to comment on the monetization model for the Immortal. I obviously wasn't really involved in that. I was mostly involved on the mobile and BattleNet side. But I know a little bit about the development since I was on the steering committee, which most games at Blizzard have like a kind of a group of leaders, like the executive producer, the game director, the TD, that kind of thing, called the steering committee, where they make decisions about the game, and they meet typically every 2 weeks to, you know, steer the project and whatever. So I was on the Diablo Immortal steering committee. I was not on the Diablo 4 one. So neither here nor there. The reason I started bringing that up is this dodge thing. It wasn't just that's in things like Lost Ark. It's as Diablo made its way over to consoles and things like the Switch, there's a difference between the way that PC controls interact with the character and the way that console controls do. So what's something that is really, really subtle around these types of games that I think is really interesting is, so when you're playing on PC, of course you have a mouse, right? And I can just click, my left click makes me move somewhere, right? But you can kind of, but typically that's like kind of how I aim my character. So if I'm firing this way, you know, I can right click and fire there, but the thing is, you can see how, like, when when I'm sitting here, if I put my mouse over here and fire, that's where my Frostbolt fires, right? So on console, that's not quite how it works, right? Because like you're using a joystick to move your character back and forth. So you have to ask yourself, like, well, what controls which direction my character is looking, right? Because like there's movement, but then like if I'm facing this way and I hit Frostbolt, I'm just gonna Frostbolt that way. Whereas I can be running this way, and then I can Frostbolt that way, right? So something that Diablo Immortal actually does pretty interestingly because of the touch control scheme is it allows you to do this thing, which is to be basically like going one direction and then firing another direction. So because like basically on console I have to be holding the joystick in order for my character to move here, whereas what I can do here is I can be like run there with my mouse and then I can fire this way. So anyway, going back to the this situation, the little dash thing, right? So because consoles are you have a little bit more like these are often called tank controls, where like your character is here, right, and then you tell it to move, and it has to have a turn animation, and it in this case like this is not a full tank control because like the character is automatically facing which direction. Like classic tank controls means that I am like Resident Evil is a good example of a tank control game where I literally have to face the character the direction I want to go, and then I have a separate key for locomotion. So the reason that the dash plays into this so much is because consoles do not have this flexibility that the mouse and the multiple keys gives you. It actually becomes much harder to control your character on a console, especially when you have far less buttons, right? Very long-winded way of talking about this, but so anyway, Diablo Immortal and specifically Diablo 3 on Switch introduced a dodge roll. So it's basically like a separate button that allows you to roll. In this case, I'm just dashing, right? But it's the same idea, and it came across because you don't have it in PC because you don't need it, right? Like you are capable of maneuvering your character one direction, then aiming a certain one. You have far more nuanced control of your character. Maybe this is an advertisement for why I'm more into PC. I'm more into PC games personally, and why Blizzard has always been more classically a PC game company. And like in a lot of cases, the console ports of things, like for instance, the console port of Overwatch was done by a company called Iron Galaxy, who's fantastic. And this is probably more well known now, but games like the Diablo II remaster were done by Vicarious Visions, right? Companies that have more experience doing console games, because Blizzard is more of a PC, just very PC focused company. Like everybody at Blizzard, like getting someone a Mac as an employee was kind of a situation. And then even once like someone leaves and they're like, we don't even want the Mac back because everyone has PCs. So anyway, this is kind of like a whole genesis of the I know I'm not like doing anything in the game. I'm just talking about Blizzard right now, or at least talking about like dashing and stuff. But anyway, so dash dodging and dodge rolling and stuff like within this type of game has kind of a long history in Blizzard. I have no idea who just yelled at me there. Maybe there's a sub boss that is around here somewhere. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to go to actually do the quest now. But anyway, just a kind of a side note around this type of mechanic. Now, bringing it into the mainline Diablo game, I think is pretty cool because it actually, what you'll see is that not the trash mobs that I just killed, like they're just there for you to kill and have fun with, but you'll see as we probably get later into more bosses that there'll be mechanics in which it's quite important that I have this dodge mechanic, and I will bet that there are items that give me effects on dodge or effects on the space of the dodge. So like for instance, if I make the dodge within a certain threshold of the animation playing or something. So I think that's actually like a pretty nuanced, cool mechanic, and I don't think it's quite as the entire like diatribe I'm talking to y'all about is just a long way of saying it's not just because Lost Ark did it, although I'm sure they felt more emboldened because Lost Ark did it. So anyway, I'm sure that was more rambling than I intended, but you know, I'm just getting used to commentating. Oh man, the lighting is so good. Like look at this light plume they have on the edges here. You can it's so nice. You can see it's got hard shadows here because of the light coming down here. It's really nice lighting design. nonsense. Like, you know, if you look really closely at the the rug, it's got these nice creases. You know, it's not quite perfect.
We must be ever vigilant against sin, brother.
Yes, Reverend Mother.
Let the light of Inarius burn away wickedness. Let not temptation lead you from his holy radiance. Let righteousness sear away corruption and sin. Cast out thy darkness, for only light must remain.
Cast out thine darkness, for only light must remain.
Is this the one from the west?
Yes, Reverend Mother. Did Lorath not accompany you?
He sent me on without him.
Putting faith in that old man was a mistake. What could possibly be of greater import?
Lilith.
So, you know. We have received word from one of our knights of a demon sighting in Gale Valley. The description matches too closely to the sighting in the west. If you would travel to Yelesna and take stock of the events there, you would have the gratitude of the Cathedral of Light. I had thought to send Lorath, but
Again, he fails in his duty.
with or without Lorath, the will of Inarius shall be done. Here, take the knight's report before you go.
Reverend Mother, I received a report of a potential demon sighting. Horned woman near Yelesna Mines. Performed routine inspection. Nothing yet. Sent in priest and escort of knights. We'll report in when we find something.
As a side note, something really nice that I appreciate in games like this is how when secondary dialogue is playing, how you can open menus and do things and it doesn't block the dialogue. It seems like a really small thing, but there's actually a surprising amount of games that you know, that are not streamlined appropriately, where they can play the audio file while other things are launching. Something about Blizzard games that I do really like, and you'll see it on display quite a bit with Diablo 4, is that the underlying architecture by the team is just, everything is really solid. It's really well thought out. And they pay attention to stuff like that. Little experience things. I mean, you'll even see like how snappy the menus are. So anyway, I just got a skill point from that, so I'm spending that. One thing that I think that is not going to fly under the radar for a lot of people, but is really cool, is that the skill tree system in Diablo 4 has definitely been prioritized to have more customization, whereas like D4 and Diablo Immortal very much were like trying to streamline, like get you into the action as much as possible and give you like a little bit of flexibility here and there. Diablo Immortal was kind of forced on it because it's a mobile game and you have far less control schemes. But in the case of Diablo 3, it was more of a choice around action, which is debatably why a lot of people don't think it's as good as and methodical as the other Diablo games. I still really like it, but another thing that's really, I think, interesting about this is how they chose to do this kind of expand situation. This is a lot of extra work, to be honest with you. Even building in this map type of thing, but and giving you kind of different ways to look at your skills. It's really nice. Anyway, so I don't play a whole lot of sorcerers, but what I like, what's interesting about the skills tree is like rather than like Diablo 3, where as you progress you kind of get your basic attacks, then you get your initial whatevers, you get your initial core skills, and then you get like defensive skills, then you get other types. What they've done here is like you basically unlock the next skill tree by building into it, and you can even see it visually represented. So in this case, I've done my base skills, and typically within Diablo, which is a really cohesive like core loop, is you usually have now this is not as much true for the Sorcerer. I'm not a little bit less familiar, but generally the theme is that you have basically like a resource. Every class has a resource, right? And then you have a resource generator, which is typically your basic skill, and then you have a resource spender. So it's a very like economic way of looking at game design. Game designs are built off of loops, core loops like that, where I basically generate something and then I spend it. If you hear like things like gold sinks, it's referring to the economy of how like gold is built and generated and then spent. So in this case, like I've got a very kind of lightning ice build going, basically like chilling and like applying that status effect and slowing people, or demons in this case, very little people down. Typically like lightning or arc lash is associated to critical strikes, which are very helpful. So let's see. I know Frozen Orb is a very classic sorcerer ability, so is Incinerate. But I'm not sure. So to me, like you also kind of want to mix, at least from me from a stylist perspective, you want to mix crowd control and single target damage. But I think in Diablo, you're dealing with far more mobs than you are bosses. So I think I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna go Chain Lightning just because like you have a lot of grouped together mobs, and typically like the chaining stuff you can do a lot of cool fun stuff with. I think it's the kind of call about it the UI, since for me I've also done a lot of UI design in games. One thing I always really appreciate about Diablo, and this is actually true of Immortal as well, a lot of people ask me actually like what's the difference between like game UI design and like web or UI, or web or e-commerce or whatever, and a lot of it is this level of immersion details that are very much on display in this game. If you look at this interface, like right, it looks nice. It actually feels pretty clean, but like look at the unnecessary level of detail in just like the edges down here have like a little bit of spikes coming off of them, and then they slowly and what's crazy about this is like these are, and it's got like a little bit of tearing here. You don't even really know what this material is, but it feels in worlds of the game like this kind of detail work is actually like pretty difficult to do, and then all these textures have to like loop based on the game engine, right? So like it's not super easy to just make this texture and then have it probably loops right about here. You can see this white, and then it loops white, 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 and then they have like probably a centered one that has this kind of nice detail up here. But to me, I really appreciate some of those little details, and since you can zoom out here, you can see this is actually like a stone tablet. That's a really nice detail. Like this could have just been like a black screen. They didn't have to put all of this. Like these like ornamentations are really nice. And also they didn't have to do it this way either, but I think it's really thematic to the game. If you've ever seen it, like, the whole blood is the key in Diablo 4, keeping it darker. But so this keyword search is also really, really nice because I think they've recognized that this is such an expansive skill tree. And it's like, even when you're first starting out the game, you're kind of getting into it and you're not reading everything. And you might think like, oh, well, it's already got like these labels, it's telling me this is a basic ability with Frost. But what's nice about this is that if I want to build a cold build, I can kind of highlight which skills are cold related. That is super cool. And it's really usable. Like they didn't have to do this. And then you can see like, not only did I put cold, but it gives me like all of the ones that are attached to the cold ability, give me like crowd control damage. Like that's something that I think is gonna fly under the radar. But for people, once they're starting to get into the customization of this game, it's really gonna feel good. So to me, like this kind of stuff is something that sets Blizzard apart as well. Like they really care about the player experience, at least the people on the game teams and a lot of the functional dev teams do. And as much as like they're always trying to put more and more stuff in the game, that kind of attention to detail I think is nice. I also appreciate the inclusion of the ability to respec and anytime just charge for it. There's a certain possibility that this is only a beta feature, but based on the way that it's implemented, it actually looks like it's not, and I really like this because I think they're really leaning hard into how customizable the character is. Like they're not just relying on dungeons being you know, procedural and that kind of thing in order to have scalability. Just kind of appreciating some of the artistry here. Like this is also why I like to kind of point out that this is not actually isometric. You can kind of see the detail over here. Like right now, you know, so this is more of like it's kind of a panned out top down thing, but I think it actually works well here. And like they're using these like multiple layers right here to show you the scale of the cathedral. It's really nice. But you can also see that like I'm actually straight on right now. I'm not at a forced 45-degree angle. So I can think as ARPGs have evolved away from like a forced isometric angle, this gives you like a really nice, and you can kind of also see it allows them to kind of create really powerful effects, like going into the cathedral straight up instead of forcing me to go in at an isometric angle. That's really cool. And it allows you to kind of do this stark thing where they have the light coming down here and then casting these hard shadows, so that as you come in here it gets closer to the light, and then this thing becomes reflective. Like, yeah, the artists at Blizzard are some of the best in the world for these kind of little details. I mean, it's really nice. And I appreciate kind of stuff like this. Like, there's no reason to go into these sections. Like they didn't even need to build these wings and stuff like that. Maybe they'll use it later, but I doubt they will. It's just makes it feel more lived in and feels more real. To me, I always had a thought around like things like Sanctuary is similar to like Gotham. Like it seems like a really terrible place to live, and it seems like nowhere is actually nice at all. Like and you wonder if people are aware, you know, of how like overtly like just like grim the reality they live in is. I feel like even though this game feels a bit darker in tone, like it's using lower saturated colors, you know, there's a lot more like grittiness, like just like these towns have mud in them and everything is like a bit darker. It's not just that, like this world actually feels a bit more lived in. Like if you think about like other Diablo games, like we've already seen 1,000% more people than we would typically see in a lot of Diablo games. Even though like the intro section of the game that I didn't show is one where you go to a small village and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like the open world focus of this is really trying to make this sanctuary feel more real. And there's a lot of subtle things they're doing to make that happen. So, okay, let's see where we're going. So yeah, we're... Oh, I forgot to... I guess I could go down here. You can see like what's cool here is this is around where you start off. But it's still got just completely optional dungeons down here, and the dungeons in Diablo 4 are also like pretty expansive. Like they take a significant amount of time. The visual design is very distinct, and then you get like these rewards like aspects, which is another system that's really cool, giving you the ability to kind of get specific skills. And then I believe they're account bound, which is super cool. Anyway, I'm just gonna continue appreciating the artistry here, like this nice, like this like drawbridge thing. It's got this really cool, you know, like light. And I would bet you like they didn't just like have a designer make this up. Like there's probably lore. Just to call attention to some of the probably why this game took like nearly 8 years to make, give or take. Potentially closer to like 6 or 7, but I mean, there's a whole troubled history of Diablo 4. It's been in development for a while. It's gone through multiple game directors, but at least when you think about like the art team and stuff like that, a lot of people have been with Team 3 for a long time. But I appreciate things like you can see that there's like this kind of Cathedral of Light is what it's called, but then you can see these motifs on the grounds, this kind of blood sigil and stuff like that. And if you remember from when in Diablo 3, when you're helping save Heaven's got like very similar sigils and beams of light and that kind of thing. And these are like filigreed in golds. You can see that this is also like shown right here. You'll see the symbol a couple times. You see it up here, like you see it down here, right? Like you can tell that this is like related to the religion. So there's like a ton of detail that goes into like not just putting these in the environment. You can see them around here, but like you can kind of see really subtly that the filigreeing here is really nice. Like to me, this stuff that's worth being appreciated. Because like it's easy to run past all of this stuff and think that it's like, oh, it's just like procedurally generated and whatever. And they may be using things like ZBrush to help facilitate that in the engine, but like most of these things, an artist created this. You know, like you don't get, there's no way to procedurally generate, you know, this kind of detail. Like someone someone created this texture. Although like things like, you know, how the mud and how the details playing, that might have been done with a combination of a paint or a procedural script. And things like obviously like allowing your sure why it doesn't want me to go this way. Might be at a online thing. But probably something that's happening in the beta where I'm probably getting at the edge of an instance, and for some reason it is not letting me connect to the instance. So their way of dealing with that is just to slow you down, probably to allow the loading to happen, but I think it's probably getting stuck. So, you know, beta's beta. See, I guess I'm going to go more south then. Okay. I realize that I'm just running around and talking mostly and not actually killing monsters, but we'll get there. Statue of Anarius over here. Oh, it's kind of cool that you can adjust the world tier from the statue itself. Thus far, I've been playing this, the world tier 2 that the beta has. It's fine. But, I mean, I think Diablo really gets going once you have some of the much harder difficulties. Gaming is typically about achievement, and doesn't usually feel good when things are a little too easy. I think that this level of difficulty is totally fine. Nice atmospheric inclusion here. It's really nice. Bears minded his own business or her business, and we just took him out. There's a dungeon down here. Maybe we can go check that one out. Why not? Probably try out my new ability, see how it goes. I need like a mob. Side quest over. Let's see. Go that way. This dungeon down here. Totally ignoring the main quest. It's also nice about the PC version of a game that they kind of have to adjust for in console separately. Is that, you know, I'm gonna click, but I can also hold shift so that I don't move. And this allows me to kind of deal with that, so. So in this case, like I click on something, like I'm gonna auto-target it, but then I can hold shift and do this. And that allows me to like basically aim from one position. So to me, that's a nice little thing that the PC gives you just a bit more control to do. They also have like a vulnerability system that seems like it's probably gonna get more complex. Like you're gonna get used to like certain weapons. Oh man, that's so cool! Like the light in the mud catching it. This feels like a subtle detail that probably makes this world feel more realistic and gothic. It's just like how mud works and like glistens, and like you know, hey, like dirt roads are not always gonna look dusty. And they do this nice thing that you're probably noticing where you go from snow, and as it's getting less snowy or more snowy, kind of very realistic to how like green areas and snow kind of interact with each other. It's going to be very muddy. Hit me while I'm doing this, I guess. Also, a lot of nice stuff that they revamped with the inventory control system. Very much appreciate how like materials are like their own thing. They a lot of open world games I think have realized very quickly that managing resources when you're picking up 1,000 things is like not that fun. Whereas like loot, they're really keeping the loot separated from the consumables, which is nice. Looks like there's a shared world event over here I can kind of jump into. Looks like I'm supposed to lay some spirits to rest, I guess. Yeah. Okay. There definitely has been a shift with the philosophy of Diablo, going more toward making it an MMO style game. Although I think Diablo Immortal definitely was intended to be quite a bit more of that style of game, whereas Diablo 4 is really trying to more thread the needle. And I think that's honestly positive. Like, it means that they can add content and world events. But that, like, it's not quite as hard as, like, it's not playing as hard into, like, Lost Ark, where, you know, other people have a lot more of an effect on your gameplay. Where's the, oh, I guess this is the last one in the middle. I'm sure this is going to spawn a boss. Oh, just an elite. Not too bad. I will say, and this is probably just a ramp on for people to feel more comfortable. So far, the game feels like a little generous with health, but that's also because like you mainly just have a locked amount of potions. Like you can't just accrue 1,000, like 99 potions in your inventory, which is actually conceptually something that came more from Diablo Immortal, where like we didn't want to have people, you know, managing all this inventory around. Oh, the dungeon's down here. Managing their inventory around potions, especially on a mobile device, you wanted to just work. And that was a case where it became more like cooldown focused. But I think there's a simplicity in like, you know, not having to manage mundane stuff. Like you want something you force the player to manage to be more strategic. Like it feels rewarding, whereas like typically just managing the amount of potions that you have in your inventory it just feels mundane. It doesn't feel fun. Which is probably why they went this direction. All right, let's check out Lights Watch. One thing that I'm hoping, and is very likely to come in expansions as once Diablo 4 comes out, is probably some sort of light focused character like a Crusader or a Paladin. I'm a big fan of kind of that combination of things. I'll probably end up playing a druid, but there's nothing really that close to it. But I can't imagine that they're not super aware of that. Because they always have a lot of things like, for instance, even this idea of like Light's Watch, it looks like it's probably was an old stronghold of something like a paladin.
How long are we gonna stay here? This place reeks. We're under attack!
I guess we're just killing these bandits for no reason. Cool. I'm okay with that. The glass cannon, like, it's actually pretty high damage. But I'm okay with it.
I'm not ready yet.
Very cool. They have like these frescoes over here. It's a pretty unnecessary detail. Like, so much work must have gone into just making this thing over here. Like the idea of like thematically, like this is a totally optional dungeon, but there's a lot of storytelling here. A lot of, you can see kind of like they're not really. I guess it's not really a fresco. You can see it's got kind of like a Templar thing right here. I'm sure portions of these are procedurally generated, but I think like there's a lot of nice detail, tons of really nice detail. You can see the light thing here. You can tell that this was like a holy warrior something. So I will say, like, the sorcerer, one thing that I didn't love about spellcasters, and it's true, is that, like... Ooh, damn. I think I had a status effect. One thing I didn't love is that, like, your resource basically just automatically regenerates, so the gameplay style for a sorcerer is more about resource and, you know, management. Whereas what I like about, like, say, barbarians, as an example, is that, like, you have a resource generator and then a spender. So, like, you attack stuff to generate fury. And that's different than just managing what's effectively a cooldown. But, I mean, that's also a way to balance against the fact that, like, you do way more damage. But it still has to do with, like, building out a resource that you generate, and then ones that you spend. Very classic gameplay loop. Oh, wow. Going to dodge away from that. Looks like he's a waller. Oh, he's double affixed. Oh.
I do not have any potion.
Oof. Yeah, so this difficulty level, especially when you don't have someone with you that can help tank, like a barbarian or something. Typically why I'm not a glass cannon person, but even so let's get a... Well, do I want... Now that I have defensive skills unlocked, maybe I do want that. Flame shields. Teleport's always fun. Teleport. Just because I want to be able to... Fun. Mobility is always fun in games like this. Oof, that's a long cooldown, though. Oh my gosh. Oh, it does damage too, that's fun. Oof.
march to Cor Valar. If I were 2 years older, I'd have passed my trials and I'd be marching with them. Instead, I stay. A skeleton crew will guard the fort until the knights can return. You'd be proud. No more polishing shields for me. He gave me a sword, though I doubt he will ever see battle. I'll write soon. Edmund.
Looks like he will not write soon. Fun environmental storytelling. I always try to, when I play games, like read or listen to all that stuff, because like, you know, someone had to write all that stuff, and they put effort like into making it fit into the world and help it build this more lived in feel.
I need time to prepare.
Not a fan of the poison. Run out of potions. Yeah, but they're very generous with the potions thus far at this point in the game, so I imagine that's part of the difficulty curve. They just don't want anyone to get not distracted, but to get discouraged. Kind of fun there. What I like here is that there's kind of a story of like what this building used to be, which is the Lights Watch, but then it's clearly just like taken over by bandits and stuff like that. Guess I need to get over here somehow. Something that's I actually think pretty subtle that most people may not immediately notice is that there's a lot of elevation change now in Diablo 4, whereas Diablo, since it was fully isometric, used to really require you to...
It's locked.
I guess I gotta kill someone else before I can open that door. But you're not like going down to different floors, like, you know, like they had to instance previously to do the isometric approach. The damage dealing teleport is fun because you can use it to get out of dodge, or you can use it offensively like I just did, which is, well, not when they're going to kill me, but then I can move back in here. Yeah. Makes you feel pretty powerful when you can use something offensively and defensively. So that mechanic would be pretty unfair if you didn't have a dodge. But the dodge actually has a pretty long cooldown, relatively. Like, 5-second cooldown. It's just enough where you can't spam it, but it's just enough that it's usually off cooldown when you need it. That type of timing takes longer to balance than I think you'd expect. Oh. Okay, he's got an affix. Gonna... my distance.
I need time to prepare that. I'm not ready yet.
And I feel kind of cheap for for using the shrine, but you know what? Game designers put it in so that you could take advantage of it. I don't feel bad. Check some of the items I have. Got a lot I haven't been paying attention to. A rare. I'll take it. Yeah. I'm also like pretty religious, usually about like marking stuff as junk. Although, like, you can see the thing they have here where they have a lot of transmog stuff. Not going to be important for the beta, but it's going to really incentivize you to not just sell stuff, more to salvage it. Not looking that cool yet, but I always appreciate screens that have like really big, like, here's what your character looks like, especially in this game where like you otherwise can't really see. I don't know. Cosmetics are important. The range of the chain lightning is particularly generous. It really has a long range, which is nice. I know that, but that offensive teleport feels pretty good. Oh, I guess I got the Watchman's key. Okay, cool. Now I can open the door. I assume boss soon. Where's the door? Here, looks comfy. Oh, that's cool. I bet these actually do tell some sort of story around like the Lights Watch and what they believe. Again, Blizzard and their really do spend a lot of time on lore and unnecessary details like that. That way it's rewarding when you actually spend time to notice it. But to me, that's the whole thing. It's something that actually FromSoft does pretty well is like counterintuitively you have to allow people to miss the detail you're putting in there to make it rewarding to find it or rewarding to experience it. Oh.
Need time to prepare that.
Oof. Oh, they locked me in here. All right, then. Basket ambush. I also like how you can zoom in actually so you can look at more detail and stuff like that. You can see that you saw this symbol in the city as well, so it tells you that this was probably an outpost for their holy guard or something. Now it's been taken over by raiders. And we're just going to indiscriminately kill them because, you know, Diablo.
I need time to prepare that.
Yeah, the offensive teleport. Pretty satisfying, I'll give him. Glad I picked that. Yeah. And even dialing in stuff like dialing in stuff like the reticule and like how it fades. Like what's nice is you see like the once you click the reticule, it has to fade out once you click it, but it uses yellow, which stands out on most backgrounds. It's pretty nice. But that's part of what makes the game feel good, like the responsiveness. It's not just like how quickly your character turns when it's playing the animations, and like typically responsiveness also comes from the ability to interrupt an animation to respond to an input command. And there's a fine balance because otherwise it'll feel stilted if you don't have like code or work that blends between the animations. Blur frame there as well. It's just nice. Also notice that part of what makes the game feel like super gothic is there's not like really a lot of music either. Now granted I have the volume down quite a bit so I can talk, but defensive teleport. Chain lightning. Oh yeah. I also appreciate little stuff like that, like when you level up, it kills a bunch of stuff around you, makes you feel awesome. It's like when Call of Duty used to do the thing when you level up and had that like guitar riff. I think I'm gonna more chain lightning, or I might get an incinerate as well, just for fun, so I can have more variety. Oh, that's fun. The beam of fire also makes it so that you can kind of plan out your attacks a bit more. That's pretty fun. Like that. Also nice how like as you get farther away from the building, it kind of gets like even snowier and more, you know, it gets a bit more hazy out. That's a nice unnecessary touch, but really nice. Yeah, again, you can kind of see the symbol there.
I'm not ready yet.
Oh, okay. Had a rough time. How did he fit in that chest? Whatever. Toon space. The Revenants are also tough because they can stun you pretty hard. I learned that with the Barbarian, where I was just standing and stuff and then getting like hard stunned for 2 seconds, which means you can't use your potion. Looks bossy. Big door. Healing well. Ooh.
I'm not ready yet.
Cool that chain lightning can bounce off of the same enemies. What's this thing? Nice. Yeah, you can upgrade. There's like a whole upgrade tree thing for the potions in this game, which is nice. So we're about at the end of the dungeon. See, this dungeon's huge. It's totally optional. Tons of content to generate. Even if they had, like, you know, tools and things that helps it. Cool. I need to dodge stuff.
I need time to prepare that.
This is the thing where, like, I can't just like, you know, turn off my brain. I have to dodge stuff.
I have no potions.
Oh. So I'm done with the third phase. I'm guessing that's when I get more potions. Oof. Got that dodge. Nice.
I'm not ready yet.
Need to keep my distance.
I have no potions.
I'm close. I'm close. Leave me alone.
I'm not ready yet.
Oh. That's why I don't like glass cannons as much. I'm hoping that it kept my progress, or do I have to start over fighting her? We're gonna find out. Oh, gotta fight her again. Cool.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Have to plan this more judiciously.
I'm not ready yet.
I need time to prepare that.
I'm already running low on potions.
I need time to prepare that. I need time to prepare that.
Ooh. I can just get the next one.
I need time to prepare that.
Oh, come on, come on, come on.
I'm not ready yet. I have no potions.
out of potions.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Oh. I'll just give.
I'm not ready yet.
Getting close, but
This is not meant for me.
damage reduction. Okay, maybe we'll go the alchemist and upgrade our potions. It's not even that mechanically challenging of a fight. It's just on a freaking glass cannon, and I can't take hits, and the dodge telegraphs are not like that easy. Let's see, where's the alchemist? Ah. Oh yeah, the giant. Okay.
Let's have a look at you, Buckles need reinforcing. This leather's cracked. What have you been getting yourself into, huh? Look, you live or die by the quality of your equipment. If you've the coin and materials, I can improve it for you.
Okay. Well, we're gonna. Oh, satisfying. Little animation where it pops up like a. I love that stuff. Okay, let's see. Rares, whatever. Early in the game, and it's a beta, so. Sure.
Not bad.
Wasting a ton of gold, but I don't really care about it. This will help me. I just need to go to the alchemist to be around here. Oh, that's the forge. Okay, where's the alchemist? Ah, okay. Yeah, need to upgrade my potions. I'm like basically almost surviving that fight.
Well, you certainly have the look of someone who spends a lot of time in the wilds. I expect you'll also want some of my elixirs, but let's focus on your healing potion for now. I have some extra materials we can use this time. If you want to improve your healing potion further or craft any elixirs, you'll need to source your own ingredients.
It's kind of amusing to me that so far none of the accents are consistent whatsoever, but you know, it's a medieval setting.
Kettle's hot. What do you need?
Okay, cool.
Light keep you.
No, I did work a lot on the messaging infrastructure of Blizzard, so if there's ever a video to talk about doing that, especially like the Battle.net mobile app, which was originally called the Blizzard Messenger. Worked a lot on, we really updated the messaging architecture over the last, probably like 2015 to 2020, like tons of cool stuff that makes a lot of things possible. For now, we're going to go kill a wolf. See how this fight goes this time.
I need time to prepare that.
It's kind of my fault that I'm getting hit, because, like, she is, in fact, telegraphing that she's going to do this stuff.
I'm not ready yet.
Like, actually, the wind-ups in the game are pretty big, like, right there.
I need time to prepare that.
Probably stop running into her, you know, damage aura things. Okay, no, okay.
I'm not ready yet.
My whole plan of standing in the attack is not going great, so...
I'm not ready yet.
Chain Lightning really helps with the ads, I think. Oh,
I need time to prepare that.
I should keep an eye on my actual cooldowns. Oh, wasted that. Got one more phase left.
I need time to prepare that.
Be close, be close. Yeah, use my last... What? Not my last potion. The Chain Lightning sucked. Turns out you gotta aim things in this game. Which is not as common of Diablo 3. Diablo 3 really kind of just made things like, you know... Oh, offensive teleport. Wasn't the best idea. Dodge. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, see, all we needed is, like, way better gear and, like, upgrading a bunch of stuff and then, like, way better potions. See? All skill-based. We've got not the best loot in the world. Got a weapon that isn't as good as the one I have. Nice. Cool little region progression. Realm power is cool. Like, the more you do events, you also get skills. All right. I think I'm gonna build into teleport because it's pretty good to do offensively. Let's see. Cooldown increase. I can do more. Cool with that. The dungeon's huge. It's really quite good. So in that case, I'm just gonna town portal out of here. Cool little effect. The town portals look really nice. They really made it look better, and the lighting effects are cool. But... Where's the main quest? So go do this one. Tormented. Lost Archives. It's kind of cool that they have like a little flavor text there. Like, it's been centuries since this watchtower saw mortal use. Grave robbers warn against the temptations of this crypt. Any speculate, like, you know, they're not just like randomly generated. They put some effort into them. That's pretty cool. I dig it. Looks like there's a smidge of a day-night cycle as well. Which is And they sort of show you that in the prologue when you meet one of the Herodrim. Nice little quality of life thing to warn people and stuff. There's just a lot of nice little UI things going on here. This I appreciate in terms of managing resources. Very nice. Rude. I was looking at my map. So I want to go that way. Also rude. I don't really play a lot of like casters and stuff, but I also Sorcerer feels good. Side quest, I guess. Oh. I don't read. I also like I think it's like channels don't get interrupted; they just let you get damaged. That's a nice little touch because then it's not annoying. It's just a risk reward you're playing. It's like his safe passage was not granted. These things here, these are traversals basically, which is a new thing that basically allows you to kind of go up and down. So it's like a jump or it's a climb. It's kind of a nice little touch. Once you get used to it, the spacebar part of it feels pretty good. Did a good job with that. Looks like a shared event. Yep. So I got a timer. So I got a bonus objective of keeping the survivor alive. Oh, there's more than one. Okay. A little harder. There's only 2 survivors, it appears. We're close.
I need time to prepare that.
Ooh, geez. I'm working on it. Yeah, I think I got the mastery. Fun stuff. Like it. Keep going, that's fine. Getting more snowy now, like that. On the road. Very snowy now. It's a nice transition. We were fighting less werewolves and now ghouls now. There's actually a lot of wildlife, but you can't target them, but you can kill them. But you don't get any reward for it. Just to know that you can. Oh. It's a rare and still not as good. Damage per hit. Lucky hit. Oh, I'll take that though. Crafting materials, okay. Got some traversal here. Here, just hop over. Nice. Probably should be going the other direction though. They do that. The threshold for that feels really good. Doesn't feel like it makes you wait. But I like the arc light way more. That thing looks like an ent or no wood wraith. Cool. Okay, cool looking, but not that powerful.
I need time to prepare that.
Back into some less snowy woods now. Nice transitions. Oh, it's a town. Okay. I knew that. Literally played this part before, but remember to activate the waypoint. Cool. A lot of side quests, y'all. Just gonna go in here.
What do you need?
Prava sent me. I'm looking for Vigo.
You and that nuisance of a child both. Girl's been nagging us about that demon woman all week. Vigo's gone, looking into her claims. He should be at the mining camp north of here. Whole escort of knights went missing there last week, along with the girl's mother and another woman. Watch yourself out there.
Like the level up. Nice. I'm enjoying the teleport quite a bit, but I want. I'm almost there to. Kind of. What are these for? Ace blades. Those are conjuring part of the tree. Nice. What else do I want? Oh yeah, I'm taking the what is basically an additional chain lightning. Guess I'm inadvertently doing a chain lightning build. Let's check out some of the side quests.
I provide a steady supply of, shall we say, specimens for the clergy nearby. However, their desire for knowledge has become more dangerous to satisfy. I require
A lot of potions around.
schoolhearts from the surrounding area. There's something special about the ravenous dead nearby. They can reanimate with only a few drops of blood. I'd venture out and retrieve these myself, but I'm more accustomed to dealing with the fully dead. Your discretion is appreciated, of course, and you will be rewarded.
Cool. Yeah, I see a lot of potions. Oh, he's a healer. Okay, that makes sense.
May the Father's light heal you.
Okay. Do you like the guards? Look pretty cool. Come with that armor. The little light symbol. It's cool. Very good consistency. Activate all of our side quests. This little hub area. Even the small towns are like way bigger. This is like 4 times the size of what most of the towns were in the other Diablo games. Except for the big ones.
Left our home in the middle of the night. I heard him talking to someone, another woman. I went to confront them, but they fled towards a strange light in the forest. They have been gone all night. I think it's time I went after him, but the forest is dangerous. Would you accompany me?
The forest is dangerous is an understatement. Oh, she's actually gonna follow us? Oh, okay. Guess we're doing this one now. Water looks cool. Very nice. Oh, and the reflections. Dude fishing. Cool. Okay. Oh. Oh, there's a lot of them. Okay, let's.
I'm not ready yet.
Guess I'll feed two birds with one stone with my ghoul quest. Okay, yes, the ghoul one. So we can go this way. I'm unclear. Let's check out our quest log. How many cool hearts do we need? We're working on this one right now. Oh, I guess I have already acquired the required amount of ghoul hearts. And also, if you didn't notice, like all my characters, I named them like my gamer tag is Deborsk, but you know, just Magic Borsk. Barbarians, the Borskarian. I probably like for my main character will have him be Deborsk, but you know, actually when I applied to Blizzard, I had a whole list of my like gamer tags of all the different ones that was typically associated with the class of character I am. Teleport's fun for dealing with mobs. Oh. Dungeon? Convenient. Okay. So what we got here? I guess maybe we'll go do this event while we're here. Going on. Oh. Looks good. Oh, wow. Those Revenants, you gotta watch out for them. They're really good at doing damage and stun. Oh my. What the?
My sweet Fyodor, may you know bliss eternal.
Fyodor?
I had a rough day, huh?
What has happened?
What in the...
Oh, heavens. No. No.
Such sights I have witnessed. Such pleasure.
I'm gonna let y'all work this out on your own.
I must have more.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
Fyodor? How is it that you...
More.
Please, go after that woman who did this to him.
More. More.
Huh. Oh, got some ghouls here. Let's see, where's the woman? I guess over here.
It's no surprise Fyodor was drawn to me.
Hmm.
But I have
This looks
given
ominous.
only what was desired. mighty soul has been torn asunder.
So a
by
succubus, probably.
agony and ecstasy, but his flesh is unyielding. You will not interfere.
I think I will. I think it will interfere. Oh, yep.
I'm not ready.
Oh, that's pretty easy. Well. I guess I already got that ore deposit.
If it's a reward you want, take the dagger from his chest and leave me be.
Sure. Oh. I'm not a rogue, though. I guess I can't use... Can I use it? Oh, but then I need a... That's right, the sorcerer can have a focus. These are rares. That's a lucky one. Lucky hit chance one. What's a count bound? Okay, well, it's a quest item. That's probably why. Well, you have a good day, sir. There's a totem over here. Oh, nice. Cool. Nothing to kill, though. That's not fun. There we go. Yeah. That's awesome. Cool, I can do that even without the shrine. Slug. Oh. Whoa. Cool. No idea what I just did, but gonna head back to the town. Ooh, a cellar. Yeah, cellars are a new type of, or classic piece of Diablo content, but I think they're far more compelling in D4. Let's see what we got. Usually, there's still just like one room, but these used to be much more minimal. For the most part, they've really cut down on loading times in the game. It's really nice, really impressive. I mean, I have a pretty monstrous PC with like a 3090 Ryzen 9. Ooh. The Revenants, man.
I need time to prepare that.
Good tunic. Goes to just like little fights and whatever, but very classic of the Diablo franchise for sure. But yeah, very few loading times, which is pretty impressive.
I need time to prepare that.
Save that dude randomly. Okay. Just gonna go. What if I? Oh, no, I don't want to go back to that town. Okay. Got to turn in my ghoul quest. with how much bigger how much bigger the map is in this game, you can see why they're like, well, they kind of had to add mounts or something at some point, which we don't really get in the beta, but you know, I went the wrong way. Even at this point, like the size of the map is like reaching the limits of, you know, it feels pretty far. Feels the world feels big. It's nice, but it feels way more lived in. They did a good job with that.
This blister is killing me. I need new boots.
Even the completely side dialogue is voice acted. Pretty cool. Look at this chicken. Flew away when I ran over him. Yeah. Turn in my.
Excellent work, friend. Ghoulhearts seem to have captivated the clergy as of late. It's no surprise, really. Understanding your enemy is the first step to defeating them.
Alright, well, I think I've been playing for about an hour or so. I haven't really been checking. But, yep. This will be enough for this episode. I'll probably play a little bit more of the beta later, and also I've got to get back onto Redemption Reapers. Was traveling, but that's a game I'm also doing a blind playthrough of. Also got a very dark, kind of gothic, dark fantasy feel, but yep. Just trying to get more into the cadence and momentum of streaming. Eventually going to work on video essays, but you know, just trying it out. Anyway, yeah, if you watched any of it, I appreciate you. And hopefully you found my rambling about Blizzard stuff, game development, interesting. So, yep, later.